Welcome to the Ageless Women podcast, where modern science meets timeless self-care for limitless vitality. I'm Dr. Cindy Groh, a board-certified nurse practitioner and the founder of My Venus Club. This is a space for women who are ready to understand what's actually happening in their bodies and finally get real answers. If you've been told your labs are normal, that this is just a part of aging, or that you just need to try harder, and if you've sat through those 15-minute appointments left with just another prescription to manage symptoms, or maybe feel like you've lost a part of yourself, you're in the right place. Before we begin, just a quick note. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended to replace personalized medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult with your healthcare provider regarding your individual health needs. Here we go deeper. We connect the dots between your hormones, your metabolism, your genetics, and your lifestyle so you can stop guessing and start feeling like yourself again. So let's get started. In the last episodes, we talked about what's actually happening inside your body, the hallmarks of aging, how changes begin at a cellular level, how your body adapts, and how these changes over time eventually show up as symptoms. But today, we are shifting into something different because now the question becomes, what actually influences all of this? Not in theory, but in real life. What are the things you do every day that are either helping your body repair or allowing more breakdown to happen over time? And more importantly, what actually matters the most? Because not all habits are created equal and have an equal impact on your body. Some have a much bigger impact on how your body functions and ages. And once you understand that, you stop trying to do everything and you start focusing on what truly makes a difference in your body and what moves the wellness needle for you. Just to ground us for a moment, in the past episode, we talked about how aging progresses in phases. The primary phase, where changes begin at a cellular level, the antagonistic phase, where your body tries to adapt, inflammation increases, metabolism shifts, stress response becomes more active, and then the integrative phase, where all of this shows up as women actually experience different symptoms and feel different things. So you may see fatigue, weight gain, poor sleep, brain fog, gut dysfunction. And this is where most women begin to focus on their body and what's going on in their body, trying to fix the symptoms. But what we're doing today is going upstream and beginning to ask questions. A brilliant colleague who I admire so much once told me, to help our patients, we must act as a medical detective. And this is exactly what I want you to think of yourself as, your own wellness super sleuth, so to speak. Because when you identify and influence the root cause, you change what shows up on the surface. And here's an important truth. There are a handful of daily habits that have been studied that have a disproportionate impact on how your body ages. And depending on your unique biology, they can change the trajectory of your health span. And when we look at the research through the lens of the hallmarks of aging, we start to see something very clear. Certain behaviors influence multiple aging pathways at once, and those are the ones we really want to prioritize. So I'm going to walk you through this from the lowest impact to the highest impact, so you can start to see what actually matters the most and influence not just how you feel today, but how your body repairs, recovers, and functions over time, truly impacting your vitality and health span. So remember, changes in gene expression due to epigenetic alterations are believed to be the cause of early aging and the onset of age-related health risks. And when you prioritize these correctly, you begin to influence multiple hallmarks of aging at once, which is actually what we want. Also, your epigenetics change as you age, both as part of aging and because of exposure to environmental factors and lifestyle choices that have been happening over the years. So identifying what works specifically for you and monitoring those epigenetic changes over time is key. We're going to talk about this more later, but for now, let's dive in and talk about some of the lifestyle changes that have the biggest impact on the hallmarks of aging. Let's start by talking about daily habits and choices that are helpful, but not necessarily transformational. Don't get me wrong, they're incredibly important and all part of the support system. So, things like tracking your waist size, walking after meals, making sure you're getting good amounts of omega-3 foods such as salmon, tuna, walnuts, flaxseed, and chia seeds, as well as fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha. These are helpful to maintain good blood sugar levels and improve gut health by supporting the microbiome and decreasing inflammation. And they really matter, but they're not the foundation. They're part of the support system. They help fine tune what's already working. Next, let's move into habits that you can implement that have a broader impact, such as reducing daily sugar intake, managing daily stress, and increasing plant diversity in your diet. More fruits and veggies are really important. These really influence metabolic health, inflammation, hormone balance, and gut function. And this is where many women spend most of their time trying to clean up their nutrition, trying to manage their stress better, and it really matters, but they're still not the most powerful levers to wellness because they don't impact as many hallmarks of aging at once. But that doesn't make them unimportant. Again, these are part of the system. They support the environment your body is functioning in every day. They help regulate inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, support gut health, and reduce the overall stress load on your body. And over time, these things really matter because, again, they're part of the system because aging doesn't happen from one pathway alone. It happens from the accumulation of insults across multiple systems. So while these may not be the highest impact levers, they're still an essential piece to the foundation. They make the higher impact habits work even better. They create the conditions where your body can actually respond, repair, and adapt. So while we don't ignore them, we prioritize them. Now let's move into the habits that have the greatest impact. And when we look at the research through the lens of the hallmarks of aging, what becomes very clear is that certain behaviors influence multiple biological pathways at once. And those are the ones we prioritize, not because the others don't matter, but because these create the largest shift in how the body functions over time. They influence how your body repairs, how it produces and utilizes energy, how it regulates inflammation, and how it responds to stress. And this is where we begin to move beyond symptom management and into actually influencing how the body ages. One of those habits or tools is time-restricted eating. And this is often misunderstood. It's not about restriction and it's not about doing more. It's about creating a space for your body to function differently. When your body is constantly in a fed state, it focuses on processing and storing energy. But when you create periods without food, your body shifts and it begins to support processes like metabolic flexibility, improved insulin sensitivity, and cellular cleanup pathways, allowing for detoxification, which is your body's ability to break down and recycle damaged components. And over time, that supports healthy cellular function, which is key. Now, this does not need to be extreme by any stretch. And for many women, this can be as simple as allowing 12 hours overnight without food and then adjusting based on how your body responds. Because like everything we've talked about, this is not a one-size-fits-all. It's a tool. And when used appropriately, it can support some of the underlying processes that influences how your body ages. Next is sleep, and this is where your body does its deepest repair. Sleep supports hormone regulation, brain and body detoxification, immune function support, and cellular repair. This is when your body actually resets itself. And when sleep is compromised, everything becomes less efficient. This is why women feel low energy, brain fog, poor recovery so quickly when their sleep is poor. Sleep is not optional, it is foundational. And now we come to one of the most powerful tools we have, movement. When we look at the research, movement consistently stands out as one of the most effective lifestyle interventions because of how broadly it impacts the body. It supports mitochondrial function, how your body produces energy, metabolic health, how your body uses and stores fuel, inflammation regulation, brain function, and overall resilience, which means it influences multiple pathways involved in aging at once, and this is why it becomes such a central focus. But here's where it becomes especially important for women. More is not always better, because if your body is already under stress, adding more intensity can increase that stress load. So the goal is not just movement, it's the right type of movement for your body. Strength training supports muscle, metabolism, and bone health. Walking and other low-intensity movements support recovery and metabolic stability. Mobility and restorative work support longevity and nervous system balance, because when movement is aligned with your body, it supports the very systems we're trying to optimize: energy, recovery, and resilience. And over time, that has a meaningful impact on how your body functions and how you feel every single day, optimizing your vitality, your longevity, and decreasing your risk for chronic disease. And this is where we take it one step further, because knowing what matters is one step. But how do you know if what you're doing is actually working for your body? This is where monitoring becomes powerful, and one of the most advanced ways we do this is through epigenetic testing. This allows us to look at how your body is expressing your genes and how your biology is responding to it over time. Because the goal isn't just to do the right things, it's to make sure those things are creating the changes that we want. And that's how you move from guessing to precision, personalized decisions about your health. And this is exactly where we're going next, because now you understand what matters most, why it matters, and how it impacts your body. But the next question becomes, how do you actually do this in real life? How do you structure your movement? What does optimal nutrition actually look like? How do you apply this in a way that fits into your life? And that's what we're going to break down next with the people who do this every single day. Because in the next episode, we're going to hear directly from our movement medicine specialist, Lauren, and our registered dietitian, Bree. And we're going to translate all of this into practical, personalized action so you can stop wondering if what you're doing is working and start doing what actually works and knowing what you're doing is making a difference. Because, like I always say, you can't optimize what you don't understand. And now you're not just understanding what's happening, you're starting to understand what truly matters. Make it a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for being here with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to share it with someone who may need to hear it too. And if you're ready to start understanding your body on a deeper level and getting the clarity you deserve, you can learn more about My Venus Club at myvenusclub.com. We offer a limited number of memberships for women who are ready to take a more personalized, in-depth approach to their health. So apply for a membership. There's no pressure, just an opportunity to start a different kind of conversation, one that focuses on you, your body, and what you truly need. Because once you understand your body, everything changes. Make it a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode.